Hey everyone, me Kevin here. In this video, I'm going to talk about how much I lost and how much I did it. First though, I have to thank all of those of you who signed up for a day to shadow me. I'm totally flattered as we go look for real estate by flying with the private jet to a destination so we can meet real estate agents, chat about startups and YouTube or social media or real estate investing, whatever you want. It's going to be a wonderful day for you to shadow me, and it's so exciting. If you want to learn more about that, it's linked down below, right next to the links for the courses. Keep in mind, you can actually use the coupon code that's expiring tomorrow for that as well. I think we underpriced these, this sort of shadowing, and after the coupon expires tomorrow, we're gonna bump the price a lot on these shadow days. So we'll be booking these out, just so you know, starting probably Jan 15, and then we'll go into January, February, March, April, right? We'll give you plenty of notice, and it'll be a great opportunity for you to shadow me for a day, so it'll be super fun. Really honored all of those of you who are signing up for it, by the way. Do keep in mind, you can use that coupon code HOLIDAYS, which is the same ones for the programs on Building Your Wealth expiring tomorrow, for that day of shadowing me. And again, we will be raising the price on those shadow days because way more people signed up than we thought, which I'm honored by, but I also want to honor the expiring day, which is tomorrow. Okay, so now we got to talk about how much I lost and how. So in January of last year, I felt miserable. Right after I sold my stocks, I went skiing, and I remember just looking at stocks and I'm like, man, was it the right decision to sell my stocks? And I'm skiing, and I'm realizing I can't get down the ski slopes. I had gained way too much COVID weight. In fact, let's just say I gained over 45 pounds, and it was way too much COVID weight. In fact, this is the before photo, and in just a moment, I'll show you the after photo. To where when I was skiing and going down normal slopes like blues, double blues, single blacks, I couldn't do it. I couldn't bend my knees on the double black. Sorry, not the double black. I don't go double blacks. I couldn't bend my knees to get down the single blacks, so I'd fall down them. On the blues, I had to stop 3 or 4 times. I felt really bad about myself. I wasn't running, but when I tried to go run, I was running like 11-minute miles on 5 minutes or 5 miles. And I'm just like, this is embarrassing. Like, I can't move. I feel exhausted, winded going up the stairs at my home, a 2-story home. I can't get down the ski slopes. Like, this is ridiculous. I need to fix this. So from January of last year to now, I've kind of done my best to lose as much weight as possible. And I've gone a little bit too far in the other direction of the pendulum to where I think I weigh too little right now, which is fine. It's part of my goal, and I'm going to talk about that. But I want to reveal how much I lost and how I did it in this video. So I lost that 45 pounds. I was just over 180 pounds, and now I weigh about 139 and a half, which is like crazy. Here's the after photo of mostly just cardio and diet. It's way too low. I probably need to weigh somewhere around 150, 160 after hitting the gym, which is my plan for 2023. And what I do want to say though is I want to share how I lost weight. And sort of my beliefs around fitness and health, because I think that's an important thing going into 2023. A lot of folks might take some inspiration, hopefully, or some ideas here. So my basic rule of thumb was very similar to what I do now, which is obviously you got to exercise, right? Losing weight is a very simple factor of calories in, calories out. Genetics maybe make a 5 to 10% difference, according to research I was doing with Harvard, but there's very little evidence that says you can't lose weight solely because of your genetics. Again, maybe it's 5 or 10% harder, but most of weight loss comes down to actually exercising and simply eating less. What I did notice is the more I exercised, the hungrier I was. So sometimes if I went through sort of periods of time where I'm like, okay, I don't have time to exercise, I was actually not very hungry, and it was easier to have a caloric deficit, right? Generally, if you have a 2,000 calorie a day diet and you eat 500 calories less, then in 7 days you'd lose about 3,500 calories, or you'd have a deficit of that, which is nearly a pound, right? About 3,600 calories. However, I don't like under eating. I like eating a lot. I'm really a big fan of eating very, very healthy foods. And so what I found my core diet has, and this has almost always been my diet, but like the vast bulk of what I would eat throughout the day would be cereal in the morning, and then the bulk of the rest of the day, fruit and nuts. I know that sounds crazy to some folks. I would certainly have a meal maybe once every 2 or 3 days. Lauren we would have like a salmon meal, or we'd go to a restaurant or whatever, and so I'd get some variety. But I feel like I just lived off of fruit and nuts. And I feel great. Like, I feel so energetic. I run really fast now, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not super fast, but I can finally break 8 minutes a mile again on 5 miles, which is great. I don't feel exhausted at all. I feel like super light. I feel like I can kind of float around, and it's awesome. But I'm a big fan of fruit and nuts, along with obviously healthier meals, Mediterranean diet style. But if you look at the Mediterranean diet pyramid, the bulk of it is whole grains, whole wheat bread, not the junky kinds of whole wheat, which are like 10% blends of whole wheat. Real good whole wheat cereal, whole wheat breads, a lot of fruit and nuts, big part of the Mediterranean diet food pyramid, and then less so like fish and chicken, and then even less so, obviously, candy, chocolates, alcohol. You got to keep that moderated because you could just drink yourself to weight gain. That's very bad. What I found is a lot of people thought that was crazy because they'd say things like, "Oh, but nuts are so high in fat." Well, nuts are actually really high in good fats, especially if you get dry roasted nuts. They're extremely high fat in polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fats, which are extremely healthy for you. In fact, you want to have more of those fats in your diet because they fill you up, right? They make you feel full, and they're extremely healthy. Unsaturated fats, with the exception of trans fats, which are also unsaturated, but those are more in like fried goods. Unsaturated fats, really, really incredibly healthy. A core of the Mediterranean diet. Olive oils, right? Have that on a sandwich instead of butter. These things were great, and I just ate until I was full. I never felt like I was hungry because I was just eating as many nuts as I wanted. I'm a big fan of nuts. I love salty nuts, especially, and fruit. I would go on runs, and then I'd sit there and I'd eat a whole melon, a whole cantaloupe, a whole honeydew melon, watermelon. And some people are like, "Kevin, that's crazy. There's so much sugar." But when you actually do research on the sugar that's in fruit, fructose is a simple sugar, but it's brought to you in sort of a package that is so heavily filled with water and fibers that you're not getting this sort of insulin spike that you would ordinarily get if you just had like a chocolate bar. And so I never feel sort of like a crash after fruit. If anything, I just feel more energized. And so the fruit that you get in its natural form and the vitamins and minerals that you get from things in their natural form, whether it's fruit or nuts or beans or lentils or whatever, or chicken or salmon, it's so good. I feel 2022 was a very stressful year for me in many regards, but in terms of like losing weight and like physical health, I feel so much better now than I did last year. So that was really probably my biggest secret is I would run. I tried to run every day, although I wasn't the best of that. So maybe on average, I only ran maybe 3 times a week if I average it out over the year. I tried to run more. But again, the more I ran, the more hungry I was. But I just filled that up with nuts and fruit. Very, very healthy, natural food. And I never let myself get to the point of feeling like I was hungry. Yeah, there were some times I would feel a little hungry, but that was because I was I purposely tried delaying sometimes my breakfast in the morning because I noticed that if I had my breakfast too early, I started to get tired earlier. And that's because my breakfast always consisted of too big of a bowl of cereal. And so I would overeat. And then if you overeat, you feel tired. In this case, it wasn't the type of food. It was just that I was overeating. And I always like adding flaxseed to my cereal as well. But if I delayed eating up until right before my run, have a banana or an apple right before my run, get a little bit of energy right before the run, then I could eat afterwards. And I always thought that worked out well. So that was sort of, if I ever felt hungry, it would be somewhere around maybe 11 or 12 right before. I try to run in the middle of the day, mostly because I enjoy running in the sun. So some people are like, oh, Kevin, are you spray tanning? And it's like, no, I'm just running in the sun every day. And so I really enjoy that. I'm a big fan of that. I also am a big believer that, and I don't know this with certainty, I'm not a doctor or whatever, but I believe that if you have some color to your skin, it's a lot harder to burn, and burns are really bad, right? Burns are cancerous, burns are bad, and so you want to try to, if you're going to be out in the sun, you want to do everything you can to avoid burning. So now my goal for 2023, and I haven't really started. I went to the gym like maybe one day. I have a gym, but my goal for 2023 is actually to, on a daily basis, work out and go to the gym. So we'll see how things can transform in 2023. But I'm pretty happy right now. I know I've gone too far to one side, but I also think that what's really cool is if you lose too much weight, obviously it's really easy to gain weight. That's generally an easy thing to do. But it's easier then to see growth as you're at the gym and sort of muscle definition and such. So we'll see what I could achieve for next year. But I'm excited. I'm very, very happy. Check out those programs linked down below, and the Shadow Kevin for 2023 flight days. Those will be really cool. Look forward to seeing you there. We'll learn a lot about real estate and otherwise, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching this, and happy holidays